So Jalen Hurts has kept everything moving in an upward direction. Philly's just been going downhill for much of the year. How do they keep this thing going with Hurts today?
Well, just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, this young man has just made plays, and what I love is that he got better from week 1 to week 2.
Right.
I expect him to be better today. I mean, let's be honest. This Cowboys team is not very good. They're giving up a lot of rushing yards. Where they're salvaging thing is by creating turnovers. Protect the football. Keep making plays. I don't see why they can't win another game and put themselves in this if Washington loses.
You said protect the football. He hasn't thrown an interception yet.
Yep.
Knock on wood. And he's, this zone read stuff and RPO stuff is so perfect for this kid. He's doing it more than Carson Wentz did, more than Nick Foles did, and they're majoring in it. And you talk about doing this stuff against the Cowboys defense, who isn't very good against stopping the run. They're just going to, they can win this division, and you know what? It's very possible, people.
Boy, I knew people would start saying it, and the answer is yes, they waited too long. All that noise we heard talking about this kid wasn't ready, please. You talked about it, Kurt. The first week we said, well, now we want to see you throw it. He came out the next week, and he threw it. I mean, it's just incredible. It is over in Philadelphia for Carson Wentz. It's over. I told Kurt something was going down, and you said, why you say that? Now you see something was going down. and let me say this, too. If it had been a receiver right before the game started that put it out that I want to now be traded, we would have ripped him a new one. We would have tore him up. We would have gotten all over him. But we let Wentz skate on that.
I just want to make a point, too, is that when you say, we waited too long, oftentimes in practice, you don't get to see that kind of playmaking ability,
yeah,
right?
I know.
You're running a scheme, and you're running a play, and you got to throw from inside the pocket.
That's the exact same team. You can see something. That's the exact same team that Wentz had. The exact same team. I mean, didn't nobody else come back to really help. That's the exact same team, and it looks like that.
No, but that's what I'm saying is it's hard to tell that in practice. That he's that kind of playmaker.
But I think the point,
now you open things up and go, just play football, and you start to see all these things that were probably hard to see in practice.
I think the point was that the quarterback that was in front of the eye test was failing it miserably, so why not go to the kid to see what was happening, and that might have been what's happening too late. And to your point, Michael, there is help on the way. Deshaun Jackson expected to be playing in this game today for the Philadelphia Eagles against the Dallas Cowboys. Meanwhile, Washington needs to keep winning, and they might be starting the quarterback stripped of the captaincy for today. Mike Garafolo.
Rich, all that hubbub about Dwayne Haskins pushed the main storyline for this week further into the week, and that is Ron Rivera with the chance to clinch the division with his new team against his former team. So familiarity and motivation on the side of Rivera, as well as 19 other coaches and staff members who came here to Washington along with him. But I spoke to Panthers coach Matt Rule, and he says, it kind of works both ways. Our guys know them, and our guys are motivated to play against their former position coaches and head coaches as well. And Rule said he's not really pushing the revenge factor for his guys, but he is telling them, you're telling us you know exactly what they're going to do. Well, it's on you to go out there and stop them from doing it. So we'll see if Carolina can play spoiler. Rich, I know the other teams in the NFC East are saying, yeah, please do that today.
I got you. That's Mike Garafolo joining us from Landover, Maryland, where, again, we are expected to see Antonio Gibson play. Keenan Allen's game time. Tyreek expected to go. No Terry McLaurin expected. And Allen Robinson against his former team in Jacksonville. You know he wants to win that one and play in it. Last night, boy, it looked really dark for the Dolphins. Down by, they're up by 1, but out of timeouts. Here comes Josh Jacobs sliding to take some more time off the clock with the Raiders down by 1, set up in this position by a questionable pass interference penalty. Tua out of the game after the Raiders settled for a field goal, and Fitzmagic happens. Also, a defense that you got to wonder what they were thinking. But this 34-yarder to Mac Hollins completed with a hand in the face mask of Ryan Fitzpatrick to set up the game winner, and that's how the Dolphins maintain their own destiny control going into week 17. Had they lost this one, the Ravens would currently be in the 7th seed. with control of their own destiny. Instead, that still belongs to the Dolphins, who take on the Bills in Week 17. The Bills have a Monday night Week 16 finale against the Patriots. The Browns and the Colts would have had winning-in scenarios all set up just for today. They still can have that.
And stats powered by AWS. We're going to look at one area that's a little surprising about Patrick Mahomes and could play a factor with Clyde Edwards-Helaire not being in the game. It's his number of touchdowns thrown behind the line of scrimmage. So if you break it down by air yards, of course there's 11 deep, but there's also 9 behind the line of scrimmage, 3 of which are actually wide receiver jet sweeps. So, Mooch, what can we expect today with no Clyde Edwards-Helaire from Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid?
When I was coaching, all you'd get was maybe a screen pass to a running back if he wanted a touchdown. Now these jet sweeps like you're talking about are crazy stuff. All right, here, look at Anthony Sherman right here. He's on the edge, like he's going to block the edge over here. And here comes watch the defense. Everybody's pulling this way. A shuffle pass inside. Look at this. Who taught him that, Andy? Look at, boom. That was too easy. All right, that's a touchdown pass, okay? Let's do it again with a different personnel group and different formation. There's your guy, Travis Kelce. All right, we're going to come here. Everything's going to pull to the right like sprint. Linebackers are coming. Block the edge. Let's shovel past that inside there. I like it, man. Andy Reid's thinking out of the box. 9 touchdowns from behind the line of scrimmage. Are you kidding me? That's awesome.
Now let's shovel pass it to Rich.
I will do that. And I'm behind the line of scrimmage, too. Top vote getters by position. They're right there on the screen. Earlier this week, the NFL celebrated the accomplishments of the league's best players. The Pro Bowl players revealed, presented by The Run. Here's a look at the leading vote getters right here. A couple of the Chiefs leading the way at their positions. Top vote getters by position on the screen. Derrick Henry, DK Metcalf, and Travis Kelce, along with Patrick Mahomes. Top vote getters in the Pro Bowl. If you're playing against Alvin Kamara in your fantasy championship game.
All right, Aditi, thank you very much. Irv, this is going to be a good one, man. Oh. All right, let's talk about this AFC North, because can these Steelers hold off these Browns and win this darn division?
Coach, I was going to tell you that I'm really worried about that, the ability to do that. But then I hear about the Browns losing all their receivers. Yeah. And that's going to be a tough game today.
They're playing the Jets, Mike. They're playing the Jets.
But they're losing a lot of receivers. And Rich, you guys already lost Trevor Lawrence. They might as well win another game. So, you know what I mean, and feel good about that. But for the Steelers, let me tell you my concern. My concern, and everybody is looking at the ornaments on the tree. They're talking about the drop passes. I know they lead the league with 35 drop passes. Talking about, they can't run since week 13. Their last with only 50 yards a game. But the offensive line here is the problem, Coach. They're on their 3rd group as an offensive line in the last 3 games trying to find. This is not about talent. Drops you can fix. I'm not worried about those things. But that offensive line staying in Ben's face like he is right there, he can't get the ball off. You can't get a run game. I'm not talking about balanced run game. I'm talking about get a yard when you need a yard. That's what I'm concerned about with the Steelers.
Yeah, I have a lot of concerns, too, because it's not just the line and the drops. It's about the team they're playing, too. The Colts are a really good, competent team right now.
Right.
They're good in all 3 phases. And this guy, are you going to lock the Browns today in the lock? Are we going to doom?
I might doom the Jets over the Browns.
Right. And then they play each other next week. And then you know what? All those receivers are going to be fresh legs. They're going to be back, right?
Yeah,
and then look out. Browns could win this division for the first time.
And the Steelers have called it the dreaded players-only meeting.
Oh, yeah, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing.
Never a good thing.
All right, now let me send it over for more on the Packers and the Titans to Stacey Dales in Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin.
The players only.
Well, Mooch, this Titans-Packers game has all the feels of a playoff atmosphere, minus the fans. I asked Titans head coach Mike Vrabel, what's the urgency of your football team this week? What's your message going to be? And he said, we have a pretty good idea of what it takes to win December, January games. That's physicality, protecting the football, forcing turnovers defensively, and they want to control the clock with Derrick Henry in their run game. As for the Packers, I asked wide receiver Devontae Adams, what kind of zone is your football team in? And he said, we're definitely in a good zone, but not satisfied and definitely not happy with their performance despite the win against the Panthers, an 8-point victory last week. There is a different standard and a different expectation, he told me, basically, with this Packers group. It all starts with Aaron Rodgers. And Rich Eisen, I detect a very focused Packers team coming into Sunday Night Football.
Well, they'll know if the Seahawks had already won or lost, because if the Rams had won and the Seahawks have lost, the Packers know a win at home on Sunday night would clinch the 1 seed in the NFC. And the Titans will already know if the Colts will have lost, the Ravens will have lost. The Ravens lost earlier in the day to the Giants, then the Titans would already have clinched a playoff berth. If the Colts lose, a win on Sunday night would give the Titans the AFC South. If the Colts win, obviously, that division will be in limbo going into the final week of the regular season. That's what's at stake tonight in Sunday Night Football. And it was interesting, Stacey's first report, I turned to you in the commercial break when she said that basically on all the weather, it's going to snow, it's going to be very cold, that Mike Vrabel said that equipment will be crucial for the team. And I said, is that what he's calling Derrick Henry now?
Exactly.
Okay, so how vulnerable are the Packers tonight against the Titans?
Well, I believe, I'm a big believer in matchups, right? When you get to this point, it's about matchups and how you fit with the teams that you're playing. And when you look at the Packers, that they've lost 3 times this year, and they've lost to teams that, A, can score a lot of points, have scored over 28 points, and B, can run the football. Teams have run the football for 150 plus in their losses. So now you've got to match up against the guy you're talking about, Derrick Henry, and this Titans offense that is built to do just that. They're #1 scoring team in the National Football League, and that guy is the #1 rusher in the National Football League. So I believe they are vulnerable. Now, you got Aaron Rodgers and company on the other side against this Titans defense that has been struggling. But I believe the makeup of the Titans says, we do what you don't do very well, meaning the Packers in that cold weather. So I think they're vulnerable. Still going to be a tough win to go into Lambeau and get that.
Yeah, I mean, talk about the business decisions the Packers defense going to have to face third, fourth quarter with Henry having maybe his 20th or something carry on. Unless this guy can start putting some points on the board real fast. It's going to be a great Sunday night game. Still to come right here on NFL Game Day Morning. We hope you have some tissues handy. It's quite a story. The inspiring story of how some of the Jacksonville Jaguars players and staff changed one autistic Jaguar